Hello and welcome to Celtic Roots Radio, coming to you today from Belfast, Northern Ireland. Celtic, folk, folk rock, Appalachian, bluegrass, Scottish, Irish, Breton, Cajun. If it's Celtic or roots music you like, you'll find it here on Celtic Roots Radio.
Busking made no difference to me. A month and week to week, from hand to mouth I ran. A million miles a minute, a stubborn foolish man. I took a walk round Green Street to kill the morning chill. She was selling scones and brandy with a finger in the till. A double shot to hold me, a straightener in the wind. If I ever thought I'd know for sure, I'll never know again. She was cool, she was kind, till she made me lose my mind. We've got better days ahead, and many more where they came from. Don't chase them all away, my friend, till your heart goes numb. It's a long, hard road, they say, with a fiddler on the way, I will swear by better days. Well, the world is flat where I come from. We've got no place to hide, no bridge across the ocean to reach those sons that died. Now they say she's living on the coast, the baby on the way, the winter wolf outside the door to south of Galway Bay. I never bought that fishing boat, my second best laid plan. She must have known that penance was a scam. She was cool, she was kind, till she made me lose my mind. Yeah. Days ahead, many more where they came from. Don't chase them all away, my friend, till your heart grows numb. Well, it's a long, hard road, they say, but with a fiddler on the way, I will swear by a better day. With a fiddler on the way, I will swear by better days.
Well, what about yous? Welcome to another Celtic Roots radio show. I'm Raymond McCullough here in Belfast with a fresh help and a great new music, plus a wee bit of crack from myself. And we started the show off today with Better Days Ahead from Kansas City, Missouri band The Elders. whom I had the pleasure of meeting and playing with in Belfast recently. Our show this week is sponsored by my new non-fiction book, just launched a week ago on Kindle, called The Whore and Her Mother, 9/11, Babylon and the Return of the King. With the 10th anniversary of 9/11 coming up, it seems the ideal time to ask whether the ancient Hebrew prophets have anything to tell us about modern day and future events. The paperback edition will be available very shortly. You can actually pre-order it from Amazon UK or from the Book Depository, and you can read several chapters for free or listen to them on iTunes podcast. All that info is on our Whore and Her Mother page on Facebook, or you can follow the book on Twitter. And just keep on commenting on the show, recently mostly on our Facebook page. Gary Edward Johnson from Prattville, Alabama says, "Hello from Alabama, I love Celtic Roots Radio." Joe Owen Malloy Jr. from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania says, "Love these podcasts. Celtic and bluegrass music puts a smile on my face and gets sparks to fly off my heels." Zoe Swime from Hartford, Connecticut says, "Just started listening this week. Love the show and listen while jogging." And Donnie Guaro from St. Petersburg, Florida says, "Greetings from St. Petersburg, Florida. Thanks for another awesome podcast. I finally downloaded the Live 365 app so I can stream your station on my iPod. Keep up the excellent work. God bless." Great to hear from you all, Gary, Joe, Zoe and Danny. And great to hear you're listening to our Live 365 station on your iPod, Danny. I'd encourage every one of you to do that. We now have well over 60 members in our Celtic Roots Cafe network. That's where you'll find information about many of our artists and bands, over 40 great music videos, photos, forum posts and a blog. Just click the cafe button on our main website, celticrootsradio.com. The show is now being downloaded in 105 countries around the world, with around 6,000 listeners to each show. We'd like to welcome new listeners now in Mongolia, Panama, the Falkland Islands and Zimbabwe. Please keep in touch with us through email, Facebook message, Twitter or our cafe site, and do go to your local iTunes store and review the show for us. Drop us a wee email to let us know in case we miss it. You'll find all of our podcasts on iTunes. Just enter Raymond McCullough into the search box. And remember, in between our podcast shows, you can listen to Celtic Roots Radio all day long, complete with all the crack from myself, on our 24/7 Live 365 station. Find that on our website too. We're listening now to Jacie McConnell from Colorado, USA, with Celtic Stomp.
Sailed out from the island the way we have for years. The sea was calm, the sun was bright, the sky was blue and clear. It's a lovely day to sail, I said, look into the sea. But the captain, he just frowned and said, those clouds, they worry me. We'd been at sea for 2 days when the winds, they turned around. The sky turned black, the thunder cracked, the rain came crashing down. Cannot see the shoreline, we've got no place to run. We'll have to ride it out right here until the storm is done. And it stand with me, boys, though the wind blows bitter cold, or the sea will claim your body as the devil claims your soul. Says to me, it's been just 2 weeks since I wed, and Annie begged me not to sail, not to leave my wedding bed. And I'm not afraid of dying, it holds no fear for me. But I'd rather not go down below in another sailor's sea. And it's stand with me, boys, though the wind blows bitter cold, or the sea will claim your body as the devil claims your soul. Just then we heard the bells, saw the lighthouse through the haze. We struggled for the distant shore as the lightning brightly blazed. We stumbled into port and we kissed the solid ground. As the final man set foot on land, the brave old ship went down. Lighthouse keeper so that we could thank the man. They said the keeper died this morn just as the storm began. There's been no one to shine the light, no one to ring the bell. I guess someone wants to hear more than they wanted you in hell. And it's stand with me, boys, though the wind blows bitter cold, or the sea will claim your body as the devil claims your soul. And it's stand with me, boys, though the wind blows bitter cold, or the sea will claim your body as the devil claims your soul.
That was a wee nautical song, Stand With Me Boys, from the Blarney Rebel Band in New York, USA. You may have noticed that I tend to go on a bit about County Down. That's because it's such a beautiful and varied place. I haven't even covered the half of it. I was down near Portaferry the other week, visiting a couple of old friends that we haven't seen for a while. Amazing how you lose touch with people. If you noticed the photograph with the podcast of last week's show, they live there, right beside that fantastic view. Portaferry is just one of the small towns and villages you'll find on the Ards Peninsula, on the east side of County Down. The peninsula, or as locals tend to call it, the Lower Ards, or the Low Country, is sandwiched between the Irish Sea and Straang Loch. It includes the most easterly point in Ireland, and is a continuation of the Drumlin country further west on the other side of the loch. That's why it's called the Ards, meaning heights, after the small hills. The loch was named Straang Fjord by the Viking raiders, referring to the strong currents in the Strangford Narrows, though the original Irish name was Loch Cuin, which simply means loch. After visiting our friends, we went to Portaferry and bought a fish supper, that's fish and chips or French fries to most of you, and sat in the car watching the sun setting and the ferry racing across the Narrows with the current. Strangford Loch's a bit like a spoon, wide and shallow mud flats at the north end, near Newtonards and Cumber, but narrow and very deep at the Portaferry Strangford end, where the Narrows are about 200 feet deep, and the tide can run up to 8 knots. Across from us was the village of Strangford with a stone tower facing the water, and Audley's Castle a little further north, while on our side there's another fortified tower, Portaferry Castle, plus an old windmill on top of the hill behind. In the loch itself, there are over 300 islands known as platties, which are really sunken drumlins. You definitely need a chart before you try to sail a boat in the loch. Portaferry's other claims to fame are the Explorus, an aquarium with fresh seawater tanks and displays, plus baby seals, etc., and a sunken tidal generating turbine set in the strongest part of the current, and which turns with the tide to generate electricity almost continuously. This is the Magees from Wisconsin, USA, and 2 tunes Martin Winds and The Wind That Shakes the Barley.
by up north on a cold November day. A wondrous snow lay on the ground. Silver birch trees against the gray sky. I scattered his ashes on the snow. The wide fields received him and all his cares. Our ancestors' voices join in my prayers. Rise up, heart of my father, spread your wings, fly back home. Rise up, heart of my father, spread your wings, fly back home. A carpenter, a gardener, the grandson of a farmer, he had the hand of his doctor father. He painted as a young man, then laid it aside. Quick to laugh, quick to wrath, quick to strike. He said a leader of men is what I want to be. Maybe in the tropics I will be free. Rise up, heart of my father, spread your wings, fly back home. Rise up, heart of my father, spread your wings, fly back home. Father, why did you leave to live in a land of conmen and thieves, where palm trees and sun offer comfort and ease? A no man's land broke your heart. A no man's land broke your heart. Rise up, heart of my father, spread your wings, fly back home. Rise up, heart of my father, spread your wings, fly back home. Spread your wings, fly back home.
A very Appalachian song that, called Rise Up, from Cornell Brothers' Washtub Band, in New York City of all places. Strangford Loch is where St Patrick returned to as a missionary after he had left Ireland and slavery behind for several years. There are many old churches and monastic ruins, both on the shores and on islands in the loch. On our way to Portaferry the other week, we stopped off at Grey Abbey, which is a ruined 12th century Cistercian abbey of the Grey Friars, hence the name Grey Abbey. It was founded in 1193 AD by Africa, the daughter of the King of Man, the Isle of Man that is, and the Isles. Across the loch, on Magees Island near Comber, there are the ruins of a much older 5th century monastic settlement called Nendrum. Another great place we visited recently on the peninsula is the old Ballycopeland windmill, which was restored between 1950 and 1978 to full working order. I remember taking some Native American friends there for a visit a few years ago. County Down used to be covered with windmills for milling the barley, wheat and oats that were grown in the fertile fields. The drumlins were ideal places to situate a windmill. I guess we were way ahead of our time in renewable energy production back then. At the south end of the loch, across from Portaferry, just near the end of the Narrows, you'll find hundreds of grey seals basking in the sun. The Explorers Centre in Portaferry rescue those baby seals that have been abandoned, feed them up and then release them into the wild again. The north end of the loch is where all the Brent geese from Arctic Canada fly to spend the winter. They're protected here, and some years ago they fitted radio transmitters to several geese and followed their journey with the help of a satellite all the way back to Canada. One of the geese they tracked down to the fridge of a local Inuk hunter. Oops, I guess the idea of conservation hasn't really hit that part of the Arctic yet. We've been listening to fiddler Charlie Gear once again from Florida, USA, and Final Crossing.
half-written limerick in my lap. Weep not for me, weep not for me. I am talking with old friends. There's a lot of long-lost faces here. They are coming for tea. I'm finally free of pain and sorrow. So rise and dream about tomorrow. Write a funny rhyme for me. Tell a charming tale of me. Weep not, weep not, weep not for me.
That was a great voice of Elaine Romanelli from New York, USA, and a beautiful song called Weep Not. So don't be crying now, because I'm going to leave you with a very laid-back song from Mr. Randy Burns, also in New York City. This is the farm song. Enjoy. Slán.
Summer's coming to the farm. There'll be a frost or two, but it won't do much harm. Remember how we used to fight the storms. It was much easier with you. But the east wind freezes and the west wind brings rain. They'll chase the seasons all around again. There's no use asking what's around the bend, 'cause only fools ever try. Every other day or two, she'll find someone who will remind her of you. Then she'll wonder what you're going through. She thinks about you all the time. So write us a letter now, won't you, son? And tell your old folks about what you've done, so she can go tell everyone. She talks about you all the time. Come by and see us if you will. There'll be fresh pies cooling on the windowsill. Watch how your mother's heart will fill. Just the joy of you around. But the east wind freezes and the west will still bring rain. I'll chase the seasons all around again. I know there's no use asking what's around the bend, but only fools never try. Only fools never try. Only fools never try.
Well, that's all we have time for on this show. Remember, you can find out more information about the artists and songs played on the show on our website at CelticRootsRadio.com. And if you're an independent artist and you'd like to hear your music played on this show, again, you'll find details on our website. That's CelticRootsRadio.com. Tune in again next week to Celtic Roots Radio. I'm Raymond McCullough, coming to you from Ireland. Slán agus Banagia.